Welcome in, everybody, to race number 3 of the Little Dogs Big Dog series presented by MMS Money Racing. Joining me in the booth again is Josh Giambrone, who will be on race control again and helping us out in the booth. We appreciate him very much. And you might be looking at this and saying, this isn't Daytona, this isn't Talladega, this isn't even Atlanta. Well, you're right. This is the iRacing Superspeedway, the fantasy track located in the state of Massachusetts that was made by iRacing, specifically, I guess, to just kind of be a fun sort of racetrack. There's really not much more of a story on it other than that, but we are here and we are going to be racing tonight. Let's go ahead and pull up your starting grid for tonight's event. Freddie Baznez for Nightmare Esports will start on the pole, followed by Brian Hennings in second, Wesley Lynch in third, Richard Elliott fourth, Nathan Harper fifth, Avery Watkins sixth, Garrett Main seventh, Sean Corbett eighth, Vicente Guerrero ninth, and J.R. Miller in 10th. Jeremy Osmore will be starting 11th, Mike Davenport in 12th, 13th will be Scott McLean, Chris Blanchard 14th, John Ward 15th, Steve Sizemore 16th, Matt Lee 17th, Michael Wingo 18th, Kyler Wynn 19th, Mark Vondell 20th, James Waring 21st, Jason Maines 22nd, Sterling Thies 23rd, Chase Mastretta 24th, Daniel Falkingham 25th, Logan York 26th, Dylan Jones 27th, Josh McCullough 28th, Christopher McCullough will be starting in 30th, Kenny McCullough 31st, David Sheets 32nd, Ron Morris 33rd, Joey Galati 34th, Ryan Schreckengoss 35th, and Jimmy Emos will round out the field in the 36th starting position here tonight. And there they go, rolling off the grid. Very awkward looking thing. Someone's going backwards already. Lots going on here. Let's just see this chaos unfolding behind us. This is pretty funny to watch. Never seen anything like this before in an MMS race or any sort of money racing, to my knowledge, for sure, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a different one here tonight, We have not done this, I don't think, in a long time. It's gonna be interesting. Hey, we might see some 5 wide tonight.
Oh, we're going to see more than 5 wide. That's my expectation. I think we're going to see 6, 7, 8 wide probably going into some of these corners. We got 36 cars here tonight, so it's going to be a stacked field. Lots of cars in the event. So it's definitely going to be a fun one to watch out for. This is a 3-mile racetrack. Let's go ahead and bring up the race info for you right now. Next-gen cars here, once again, the things we're about to be running for a week straight in the PGR 500 festivities. 75 laps, 50% fuel in the tanks, unlimited tires, 1 fast repair, fixed setups, and 3 attempts at an overtime if we need them. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to this. It's going to be a lot of fun, going to be chaotic for sure. Look how wide the racetrack is. I mean, it's just so wide, all these places you can go. And I will say also the camera angles are not exactly conventional for this racetrack, so bear with me while I try to sort these out and try and get the widest possible angle for y'all to watch. But here they come, heading out of that massive number turn 4 right there, and they're coming to the green flag pace car, drifting into the pits, and we're about to go green flag racing here at the iRacing Superspeedway for Freddie Baznez and Brian Hennings. Green flag is out, and here we are racing here at iRacing. And the yellow flag has flown right as the field was about to complete lap 1, and I am afraid this might be the tune of the evening here tonight. But we saw something I was going to point out there. That apron definitely catches a lot of people off guard. It's a big jump, kind of a hop down, and I'm going to go ahead and take a guess that that's probably what caused our first caution here. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Try to see who this revolved around. It looks like it might have been around Jason Maines involved in this one. Let's see. So here they are. They're on the backstretch. Everything's going just fine. They enter turn 3 here. Jason Maines trying to get down in front of Steve Sizemore, it looks like, and it's just not there. Maybe a little bit of netcode as well. What reflexes by Chase Mastretta back. There's 2 separate wrecks. Michael Wingo getting turned in the back. Steve Sizemore, where's Mark Vondel going to take a big shot into the outside wall? Logan York's on top of Sterling Thice down there on the bottom, and everyone else just getting involved here further on. So, very early yellow flag here. We're going to be back to iPacing for this one, but we're going to get as many angles of this as we can. There we go, Jason May just trying to fit down in the spot that wasn't really there. It's going to spin him up the track. He's actually going to get away relatively okay. Going to get some rear end damage from Mark Vondel right there in the 59, but other than that, I think he's going to be all right. Let's see what happened to Logan York down here. He ended up on 2 wheels. Here he is in the 02 machine. Sees the wreck, trying to avoid, and that was the separate crash right there, trying to avoid, but Sterling Thice is there, and he's going to launch on top of Sterling Thice. That car is going to sit right back down for the 02 of Logan York. Thice is going to blink out momentarily. Dylan Jones in the 011 working his way through. Chris McCullough in the 2 getting spun out back. Take us back a few more times. Let's see what really caused this right here. This part was Michael Wingo in the 01 machine getting spun out. And he's just coming down across the nose of Sterling Thice. Not much Thice could do here in the 41. Michael Wingo just chops his nose off, and it's going to spin him back up into Mark Vondel. Take out... he's actually going to glitch through the 06 of David Sheets. That's a good break for him. Michael Wingo, big hit to the outside wall. Joey Galati in the 661 making his way through. The engine expired on the 01 of Wingo, so he's going to have to tow that car back and get a fast repair very quickly. Hopefully get back into the thick of things. See if we can get a few more angles of this. What's your take on this one, Josh?
Looks like 2 wrecks at the exact same time for the exact same thing. It's going to be... It was on Michael and Jason there at the same time. 1 second.
There we go. That'll be the call from race control here. Trying to see if we can get a couple more angles of this one before we take you back live. Like I said, 2 separate wrecks, same time, basically. Not really for the same reason. That bump only really maybe kind of affected the one involving Michael Wingo, but some big hits in this one, but I think for the most part, most of the guys involved, maybe except for 2 of them, are actually going to get away okay. Back live, Freddie Baznez, he held the lead of the race. But he's actually going to come in and pit. How about this? Baznez took a pit stop right there, and he's going to turn the lead over to Richard Elliott and Avery Watkins, followed by John Ward, J.R. Miller, James Waring, and then Bazinez, followed by Jimmy Emos, Nathan Harper, Wesley Lynch, and Garrett Maines. We saw Bazinez, Harper, Lynch, and Maines kind of pull away a little bit as a kind of tight group of 4 on that first lap, but then again, we didn't really get to see much because the yellow flag flew immediately. So I'm not sure if that's really going to be a sign of some 4-car tandems trying to break away from the pack and the chaos behind them. We will soon find out, but we are on the 1-to-go signal for Richard Elliott and Avery Watkins here. And it's, yeah, like I said, I think we're probably going to be in for a long one here, Josh.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you know who's up front, though? Jimmy Emos is in P7.
Yeah, how about that? A good run so far for Jimmy Emos.
He started in pretty far back.
He started dead last on the field. Shotgun on the field, has worked his way to 7th because of the crashes and some pit strategy here. We'll keep an eye on that number 67 machine of Emos. We'll be starting P6 for this one, and hopefully we can get more than... Well, actually, we still need to complete 1 full green flag lap. I'll take that back, but we'll be going back green on lap number 5. It'll be 71 laps to go for the rest of this one, and it's gonna we're in for a treat. We are in, like, this track does create a lot of chaotic racing and exciting racing when it is actually racing. But if it's just crashing and pacing, obviously we can't really see that. Now that's what I'm looking forward to. Hopefully we can get a long green flag run. Who knows? Maybe even some green flag pit stops.
That would be interesting. 100%, because a lot of these guys have never actually raced on this track before. I mean, I know, like, Ward, he bought the track today.
Well, there we go. John Ward, one of the key guys in Money Racing, just now buying the track, but so far he's in P2. Look at all the stack-ups going on out back. Crazy stack-ups on each line, the inside and the outside. Now we're going 4, 5 wide in the back as they head into 1. Richard Elliott with the nose out. Oh, John Ward's getting loose in the 92. He's going to save it. What a save by John Ward. James Waring almost clips it. Oh, this is a lot. Oh, there we go in the back. The yellow flag's going to fly. I think this was another one of 2 different incidents going on here.
Yep.
Because the yellow flew right when somebody got spun and it was not able to see who that one was. It might have been James Waring. I'm not entirely sure, but let's go back and see. We made it even less down the racetrack this time under green. That's not a good sign. But the first thing that I saw, I believe it was actually maybe J.R. Miller in the number 78 machine up here. Sure enough, it was Miller in a 78 for Team PGR. He's up kind of high right here. He's behind the number 10 Noah Gregson machine right there of Avery Watkins. And we see the wreck out back. We'll take a look at that in a second. There's a massive stack up on the bottom. Kyler Wynn taking evasive action down under Scott McLean, and Scott McLean might be coming up the track. Oh, look at the net code. Oh, my goodness. The net code between J.R. Miller and Scott McLean was obscene. That is like 20 feet. It's not 20 feet, but it's enough of net code right there. That was enormous. There's Brian Hennings, nowhere to go in the 74, right into the door of his teammate, J.R. Miller. And that is unfortunate. So that wasn't even because of any racing. That was just atrocious net code between Scott McLean and J.R. Miller. Let's take another look at that in real time. Wow. He was not even close to him. Once again, Chase Mastretta in the 8, barely making his way around that. Jimmy Emos as well. Steve Sizemore rolling by. Well, now let's take a look at what actually threw the yellow flag here. And we're going to have to kind of search for this, I believe. Is that Sean Corbett down there on the bottom? Potentially. I'm not 100%. It very well could be. Let's take this in some slow-mo. That is going to be Sean Corbett getting loose on that bump. He's going to spin out right here. Mike Davenport, Chris Blanchard, nowhere to go. Corbett saving it? He might actually save it. Oh, more net code, actually. Going to kind of kick him back around, and then he's going to get spun again by Davenport and Blanchard. There's Jeremy Osborne going up the racetrack in the 41. Good job by Steve Sizemore to miss him. I think that's actually going to be the end of this deal. So that out of all that, there was only one car that fully spun around, and that was the 78 machine of J.R. Miller here, Josh.
Give me 1 second. Sorry, there's another incident happening.
Oh, that's always good news to hear. Apparently something's going on under caution. We've got a few more looks at this real quick, and then maybe we can see what's going on under the yellow flag here. There's the contact. These guys did a really good job of saving this. Blanchard, Davenport, and Corbett. What a job by these guys to save it. I mean, they were all sideways crashing at one point. They were able to keep it straight, albeit a little bit damaged, especially in the case of the 45 of Corbett. But other than that, they're going to get away A-OK here.
1 second. We've had 3 wrecking incidents under yellow already.
Fascinating.
An interesting one. Okay.
So we're wrecking 3 times under the yellow flag. That's a good sign. That's a really good sign.
Yeah.
How this one's gonna go, but iRacing data for me is not showing that anybody crashed, so I doubt that we will actually be able to take a look at it. Maybe we can be informed of who that was crashing or how bad it was. But, I mean, right now we see some guys sitting in pit road. This will be Kenny McCullough coming out of the pits in his new paint scheme in the number 03. There's Mike Davenport. Still with some damage that he needs to fix. Obviously don't want to take that fast repair just yet. Neither does Logan York back here in the 02. There's Mark Vondell with what appears to be a new race car. Definitely had to take his fast repair. There's J.R. Miller coming back. There's Josh McCullough. Michael Wingo out here. Had to repair a little bit of damage as well. And behind, there's Freddie Basnes behind him. I think Michael Wingo might actually be a lap down here. I would assume so, considering he had to tow his race car back. And then, sure enough, he's going to have to be filed to the back. The only car 1 lap down, so he gets another caution. He will be the lucky dog of the race. But up front, John Ward, James Waring, Jimmy Emos up to 3rd. Freddie Basnes 4th. Nathan Harper 5th. Richard Elliott in 6th. Jason Maines, or excuse me, that's Garrett Maines in 7th. Vicente Guerrero 8th. Daniel Falkingham 9th. And Kyler Wynn rounding out the top 10. As we're going to try it again. 2 cautions and not a single green flag lap yet, so hopefully we can get it on the third time. Third time's the charm, as they say, so that'll be up to these guys, this group of guys here. Try and sort it out and get used to this racetrack pretty quickly if they haven't already gotten used to it. John Ward, there he is.
New call here. It is going to be on Chase Mastretta, Nightmare there. He came down and hit Corbett before going into the turn, and that's what made him get loose there.
So there we go. We missed that one on the broadcast. That's my apologies. I thought the bump got Corbett right there, but apparently Chase Mastretta in the 8 might have had something to do with that, so he's going to receive the EOL. There's Mastretta going to the back of the field here. Unfortunate for him, but who knows, it might be a blessing in disguise. You never know, considering how this one's going so far. There he's going to have Scott McLean behind him. John Ward in that new number 92 paint. Beautiful looking machine for him. A new paint scheme, as we now know, Hyper Motorsports is no longer a team. John Ward was the captain of it, and that team has since dissolved. So they're all kind of just spreading around right now. I'm sure they're still working together and everything, but a little bit of an interesting, silly season news in the money racing community. But let's see what John Ward can do here as he rolls into the restart zone. He's going to wait a little bit and then go right there. Not a good push on the bottom by Jimmy Emos at all. Freddie Baznez to the back of James Waring trying to push him along. John Ward with a heavy nose out in front. There goes Nathan Harper and Garrett Maines on the bottom. Going to split Jimmy Emos through the middle. And that's going to connect this bottom lane pretty well here, heading out of 2.
They're 4 wide in the back here, racing for basically last. We got a couple cars that lost the draft in that restart. People weren't catching up. And, they're just fighting hard in the back here for some reason. Oh, we're 5 wide in the back now.
Yeah,
fighting
sure
for
enough.
last place.
Lots going on here. Look at all these guys just jostle around trying to find any way around the track that they can. This up a little bit further. Kind of a 10-car breakaway here potentially, all single file, and we've got a lot of breakaways actually. Hold on, we've got about a 7-car pack that rounds off with Jeremy Osborne here. This is the lead pack. Ward, Harper, Maines, Falkingham, Wynn, Guerrero, and Osborne. They have kind of pulled away here from the rest of the field. Dylan Jones, Freddie Bazinez, and Wesley Lynch are together, followed by James Waring trying to catch back up, and then a little bit more chaos. There's Chris McCullough, Chris Blanchard, and Steve Sizemore. And these guys are finally trying to sort it out back here, but to no avail because we're still 4 wide right here out of 2. Another look at this breakaway right here. We're getting some green flag racing. I think this is what we needed. This isn't really going to be the normal type of super speedway race because you're going to have these separate little packs, which I know that does happen on occasion at your normal Daytona Talladega, but these guys are going to have to form up and get a plan together quickly if they want to have any shot at catching this group of 7 here. There goes Chase Mastretta into the pits, it looks like. All the way in the back. Not sure what's going on with him.
He had a black flag drive-through there.
Oh, that's right. Drive-through penalty, not just an EOL for Chase Mastretta, so there he is coming in to serve that penalty now. There's Jeremy Osborne swinging out in this lead pack, but I think it's wise for him to just kind of sit where he is at for the moment. Look at the separation we've got. I mean, kind of all over the place in the field right now.
It's not easy to watch.
No, it's not. I keep frantically changing camera angles, trying to get everybody in the same shot, and they keep changing on me every time I switch to them, but this might be a good one. All the way up top in the spectators' view. John Ward with a little breakaway here. The entire field is single file. That's what's kind of fascinating to me right now, that this really happened. Oh, except for Brian Henning, he's taking a peek out. And this is a large pack back here, so in theory they should catch up. This was the group of Jones, Bazinez, Lynch. That kind of, I guess, kind of sucked back because, yeah, they're 4 seconds behind the lead pack now. now that we're racing up here again, I don't know. This is so strange for me to talk about and try and announce and keep up with. It's so different from what we normally see. But now this pack is trying to sort themselves out, and not really well, because now we're racing again in the second pack. These guys need to figure out how to stay hooked together. And speaking of that, look at this pack in the back. I mean, these guys are 4 wide, all the way in the back, completely losing even more of the draft back here. I mean, this is kind of crazy for these guys to be doing this, and it's just allowing this group of 7 up here to just run away with this one. All right, but I do say run away. Look at this. That 4-second gap is kind of stabilized where it's at now. Hennings is now the leader of it, and Matt Lee, who is one of the best pushers in the game, behind him. Richard Elliott, Dylan Jones, Freddie Basnes. This is a solid group of guys to be having pushing this lead group right here to try and continue and move forward and try and catch that lead pack, but we'll see if they can do it, Josh. Oh, look at Matt Lee down on the apron right there. That was not really good. I'm not sure what happened right there. If it just got a little bit looser, that was kind of organized, trying to cycle the temperatures for these guys to be as fast as possible, and that's kind of losing them a little bit of time right now. But Matt Lee is now going to be the leader of this line. Richard Elliott, the lead pusher, even though he's not on him right now, and he needs to be around him as long as he can take it. That's really broken this group apart now. When Hennings got back in line, this is now just a group of 5. These guys just got to get organized.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like even in that front pack, they're kind of spreading out into 2 packs. But that second group is definitely not working well together. The third group is finally in a straight line, but they're also splitting into multiple groups as well. Not really sure why they don't want to work together here tonight, but it is not working in their favor.
Yeah, not at all. And these guys are so far back. It's kind of crazy. I mean, the leader of this is Ryan Schreckengost and the number 17. They are 11 seconds behind the leaders right now. So it took them long enough to sort it out. Now you can see the distance up to just the second pack of guys, not even the lead guys. There is a lot of work to be done here, and honestly, depending on how well they can do it and how this race is going to go, I don't know if they really can do it. I know we still have like 60 laps to go here, but that seems like a very tall order.
Yeah, they're coming up on 2 lap cars here, and they just got Jason Maines, and they're getting Chase next, but it looks like what's going to happen is that second pack's going to end up catching up. But, like, as of what I'm seeing right now, they're catching. Not by much, but by a very little margin.
They have caught about maybe 0.2 of a second, and now they start to lose it a lot right here. Not sure what just happened. Matt Lee pulling out of line, that's what caused it. And this is an interesting way of doing this, but honestly, it's probably what they think is the best plan, because usually if you're seeing a group of guys, a long line of guys try and continue and push pace as much as they can, that obviously all depends on the lead pusher's temperatures. And what you'll normally see at like a Daytona or Talladega, that guy's going to push all the way down the straights, back way off in the corners, and then get locked back on the straights. Well, these straights are enormous. So I'm wondering if they're taking this approach of cycling the leader out to keep refreshing temperatures, and they think that'll be faster. And right now, it kind of is. That gap to Dylan Jones is only 4.5 seconds now. They're not gaining anywhere as much as they probably want to be. But here goes Matt Lee and Brian Hennings back to the outside around Chase Mastretta. The lap machine, Chase is going to try and lock onto them and continue his march for getting his lap back. But this group, there's only like 3 of them now. There goes Basnes cycling himself out at the front. And he's going to try and get back down in front of Wesley Lynch. Thinks better of it. Probably a wise move. Now Chris McCullough is going to be the lead pusher to Dylan Jones.
Looks like they're going to come in and pit. Ward has said that he has 4 laps left. But it looks like their whole group has 10. The majority of their group, because I know Garrett Main said he has 10 left. So it looks like Ward will have to come in maybe by himself, which would be very interesting to see.
Yeah, it is a 65 mile an hour speed limit in the pits. That's also something different. It's usually a 45, 50, 55 mile an hour. You're flying in the pits, or at least it feels like you are. So you're going to have to back up your entries to your pits and everything like that. But I'll tell you what, I mean, this group's still going pretty well, and something I just now noticed, and this is my bad for noticing this, Jeremy Osborne lost this lead pack and has now been swamped by the second pack, and he's trying his best to lock onto the back of this one. I think he might have a shot here. He should be able to catch Chris McCullough in that number 2 machine. Wesley Lynch kind of losing it as well. These guys need to put some work in to catch back up to their guys.
Yeah, it looks like we got multiple 4-car, 3-car packs in the back. We got a 3-car pack in the middle, and then like a 6-car pack and a 10-car pack. But they're all starting to split up here, which is very interesting. I don't know if they're just not keeping up or if straights are just so long that they're just getting outdriven. But it looks like Ward is going to come in here this time by. Don't know if anybody's going to go with him or not, but he should be coming in this time.
So John Ward, we saw him pull the strategy play. He's going to have to come in and pit now. And I do highly doubt, unless he gets these guys to come with him, that it's going to work out for him. Because if you pit by yourself at any super speedway, you're going to be losing time, and you're going to be losing it quick. They're now coming around the lap machine of Mike Davenport, the damage machine, going around him. He's definitely not going to be able to keep up in this pack with that nose damage he has. So we're going to keep this locked on to John Ward here in the 92. Watch his pit entry as he comes in to have his first green flag pit stop on the evening. This group kind of getting a little more thinned out. Here comes John Ward to the pits now, bouncing it off the apron. Just him, too. Getting it woed down, and looks like he's going to make it okay. He didn't overcook it. And I'll tell you what this should do in theory is somewhat help out the second pack of guys, because this front group has now lost someone, and in that exchange, you're naturally going to lose a little bit of time anyway, but that gap is just straight up stabilizing. And the worst news for the group of Jones, Hennings, Lee, Lynch, McCullough, Baznez, Osborne back here, the worst news for them is that Garrett Maines is now lead pusher to Nathan Harper. That is probably the best pusher when it comes to money racing. Garrett Maines in that number 1 machine, trying to get his temperatures here. As you can see, he's going to be pushing the pace as much as possible. And he's got Daniel Falkingham behind him, too. So this group, and Kyler Wynn. I mean, this is such a group of guys right here in the top 5. Guerrero, Harper as well, that have pulled away. And I would say, like, right now, these would be your payout spots. It's a top 5 payout here tonight in this race. And these would be your guys. And if it stays the way it is, we don't have any more cautions, which I do doubt that, even though we are getting spread out. I'm sure it's going to happen at some point. This would be your cash spots, and these would be the guys battling for the win. Matt Lee, Dylan Jones, that group, they've caught kind of significantly. They've caught 4/10 since we last looked. Matt Lee gathering his temperature is going to give that push to Dylan right there and try and march forward, and they're just losing some more time here. It's so back and forth between these two groups. That's interesting to watch this. I mean, we don't usually see something like this. There goes Matt Lee pulling out of line, almost hitting the wall while he's doing it. He's going to turn the reins over to Wesley Lynch in 33. Have him be responsible for trying to push this line forward, and they lost so much right there. They're back to 4.7 seconds now when it was down to 4.3.
Looks like we're going to split into even more packs in the back here. We're in 1, 2, 6 different packs of 3 different cars or less, and the full rear pack is fully with Richard Elliott leading now. It's fully disintegrated. So it looks like we only have 2 packs that are 5 cars or more, and that's the lead and the second pack. But the second pack is added. They added another driver, where I don't know where he got him from, but that's definitely going to help catch them up here.
Yeah, they have. Now we see Logan York actually in the 02 machine. He was pretty damaged earlier, and he's in this kind of third pack that consists of himself, Richard Elliott in the 02, and David Sheets in the 06. A little bit of damage still on Logan's car, so when it comes to the pushing and everything of that nature, he's not going to probably be the best at it. He's going to need some help, and he's going to come in and pit this time. Here comes Logan York, Richard Elliott, David Sheets in for a pit stop. Logan locking him up right there. You see that right front tire just exposed from the damage that he got in that lap 1 incident. So these guys are coming in. There's lots of guys coming in here. Actually, all of them behind. David Sheets, J.R. Miller, Jeremy Osborne, Sean Corbett, Scott McQueen, Avery Watkins, Sterling Theis, Ryan Schreckengost, all coming in for pit stops this time. Let's take it back up front, see if we can catch these guys coming into pit. The leaders of the race, Harper, Maines, Falkingham, Wynn, and Guerrero. Garrett riding way off of Nathan here. Going to approach him for a push potentially, or they're going to come in and pit. We're going to find out. They're going to stay out this time and continue trekking along as the guys that have pulled away from everybody. The second group's pitting now. Dylan Jones, Chris McCullough, Matt Lee, Freddie Basnez, Brian Hennings, and basically everybody else in this pack. Wesley Lynch coming in as well. So this pack, this is going to be huge for them. These guys need a pristine pit stop if they want any shot at keeping their time and their pace. They need to gain something here out of this stop. We'll see if they do. We've got this locked on to Brian Hennings. Let's see if we can get a pit exit view real quick. Here we go. So Chris McCullough, you see in the back, getting kind of sideways. He's going to hang on to it. Here these guys go. They're going to lose Wesley Lynch, I believe, right here. Maybe even Freddie Basnez.
Leaders are coming in now.
Here we go. Here they come. Here is this whole... Oh, Kyler Wynn getting real squirrely. And the group of 5 that have pulled away now pitting. Falkingham and Maines dust Nathan Harper in the 4 on entry. Kyler Wynn was getting real squirreling back. Vicente Guerrero took it pretty conservative. Probably a wise move for him. But these guys entered about the same, so it should be good for them to at least be grouped up together when they exit.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have basically some single car racing here for a little while until everybody gets out and back into their groups. But everybody's spread out. Like I think this is the most spread out we've ever seen in Superspeedway racing here. I mean, everybody's had different pit strategies. Nobody that pitted with a group is still with that same group. They're with like maybe 1 or 2 cars, but they're all like they're going into 3 right now, and they're single file. Like they got a good second and a half between each car.
That's true, and this kind of the lead pack. Ooh, Mark Vondell almost getting turned down into Kyler Wynn right there. That would have been disastrous, but the lead group has now just turned into Garrett Maines, Daniel Falkingham, and Kyler Wynn. Vicente Guerrero is probably going to lose their pack right here. He's already about 2 seconds off of them. He lost it. Nathan Harper lost it as well. He was the leader of the race. Now these guys are just stranded in no man's land. They have no help out there. Chris McCullough is leading what is now the remains of that second group, which is himself, Dylan Jones, and Matt Lee. Who was it? Brian Hennings lost it, so did Freddie Basnez. That's huge for Freddie. He's been on a tear recently. Completely lost his pack that he was with. Wesley Lynch now by himself. And then the pack of Richard Elliott, Logan York, David Sheets, the 02 and the 02, they both have the same number, Elliott and York. They stuck together, and now John Ward. You see how detrimental this was to John Ward's race, pitting by himself. He is now all the way back in the 14th position. I'm trying to see just exactly how far back he is, because it is quite a ways. 22 seconds behind the leader of the race, Garrett Maines. So throughout that entire pit cycle, John Ward by himself lost 22 seconds. They're going to go around Wesley Lynch here. We'll see if Wesley can latch himself onto the back of this group. But this is really interesting racing here, Josh. You know, so it's really different. It's almost refreshing in a way that we're seeing something like this.
Yeah, you know, I mean, based off the first 2 green flag laps, we had yellows, and it seemed like a pretty long night gonna happen for us. But I mean, they're not group racing anymore, so they can't really wreck anybody. But it is very interesting to see this type of racing from these guys. I mean, it's just single file. I think there's like 10 or 12 different groups of people racing here, and they're all on different strategies now. And I mean, a yellow would kind of mess everything up, you know. But if we don't go yellow, Garrett Maines, Daniel Falkingham, and Kyler Wynn are kind of just going to walk away from here.
Yeah, but I do expect a yellow at some point, even though we are so single-filed out. You know it's probably going to happen. But this backpack right here, it's 3 versus 3, but they're just not gaining anything. They lost 3 seconds in their pit stop cycle when they were already struggling to gain 2/10 and then lose 4, it seemed like, every other lap. So it's just a group of 3 and 3. Those are your packs. Vicente Guerrero, I think, is still stranded back here. He is. He's going to be caught by Brian Hennings, Freddie Baznez, and Nathan Harper, who managed to latch onto the back of Baznez and Hennings' little pack. Look at them fly by the run they had on Vince right there in the 14. I think Vince should be able to hang on to this one. You see Freddie drop down in front of him, going to help him out with a little bit more of the draft. Yeah, Vince is going to be okay here, but he's in 10th place, 15 seconds behind the leaders. It's like we're watching, I don't even know, like a NASCAR Cup race from the early 2000s or something, where people were so spread out and kind of single file, not so much single file racing, but it was just big gaps between all the cars. But this is the third pack. The fourth is Richard Elliott, Logan York, and John Ward. I'm going to see if we can go through all these right now. So this is pack number 4, and there's only 3 of them as well. So if the power and numbers theory is true, the third pack should be gaining, but they are 8 seconds behind their competition. So don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. Here's J.R. Miller, Kenny McCullough. This is a pretty large pack here. Scott McLean, Wesley Lynch, Jeremy Osborne. Oh, a couple lap cars have gotten involved in this, it appears. Who is this? That would be Mike Davenport. Jason Maynes also in this pack. Back here, Avery Watkins into some lap cars. This is Sean Corbett, actually. He's pushing Jeremy Osborne, followed by Avery Watkins. Then we have Shrek and Gost and Sheets together. Ron Morris and Sterling Theis together. Josh McCullough way back here with Jimmy Emos, James Waring, Steve Sizemore, Joey Galati, Mark Vondell. These guys are about to be lapped. Like, these guys weren't even, like, really damaged or anything. They're getting straight up lapped right now. There's the second pack approaching them. This might get interesting. Chris McCullough, Matt Lee, Dylan Jones trying to sneak their way through the middle right there. Vondell almost going into the wall. There goes Dylan Jones trying to work his way around Joey Galati. And now this might help this pack temporarily, but in the long run it might hurt him if they get to side drafting. Here they go, 2 by 2. Chris McCullough going to go around Steve Sizemore. They're all going to try and tandem away, and I think they should easily. No sort of pushing or organization down on the bottom. So this pack managed to get through there, and they actually gained a good bit of time out of that.
Yeah, it looks like all these groups are starting to form into some like 10-car groups here, except for the leaders group. There's still just them 3 cars. You got another little group with Richard Elliott, Logan York, and John Ward in the back there, but all the other groups have started funneling in together, and it looks like there's still somehow these big groups are still losing time on this top 3 up here. But other than that, they're racing pretty good. It's just they're all spread out, so you can't really do much about it. But it's just going to come down to pit stops in the end, it looks like.
It's going to come down to pit stops, and I think we do have to acknowledge the caliber of drivers that are the top 3 right now. Garrett Maines, former Coke Series driver, winner. Daniel Falkingham, current Coke Series driver and former winner. And Kyler Wynn, who's one of the best there is in general. It's not surprising that these are the 3 up front right now. And I do say this, they are losing a little bit to the second pack even further. And it's nowhere near enough for the second pack to be catching up. But they have look at this group they have. Chris McCullough, Matt Lee, Dylan Jones still the leaders of it. And they've got these lap cars behind them, what appears to be Josh McCullough in the 8, Jimmy Emos, and we'll see who that 6th car is in line. It's going to be James Waring, then Steve Sizemore. So this is a sizable pack that's contributing to their efforts of catching right here. Great news for these guys, but in the end, they're not going to get there before the next pit stop, at least in my opinion. I highly doubt that happens. But this is a good news for their cause. Let's check in on these other guys. Hennings, Baznez, Harper, Guerrero still just their pack of 4 trying everything they can to... Oh, look at Freddie way up the track right there. It looks like Nathan's going to take advantage. Vicente Guerrero in the 14 is going to pick him up. A wise move by Vince. You want those guys to get back down and in as soon as possible to keep your group as tight and organized as possible during the the temperature cycle, I should say. So it's good on them, but they just don't have the numbers right now, and that's hurting them. Richard Elliott back here with Logan York and John Ward still. 3-car tandeming, doing everything they can, but again, no numbers. This pack used to have 6 cars in it. J.R. Miller, Kenny McCullough, Wesley Lynch, or Jason Maynes, I should say. Wesley Lynch has lost it. The yellow flag, there it is. The caution flag has been waved. We knew it was coming, and that's kind of upsetting because this was really interesting racing that we were seeing here. But apparently something went wrong for the 58 of Scott McLean. Let's take a look and see what happened to him here. So this happens way back, actually. Way back.
Beyond the 55. If you want to look at somebody.
I got you. So he's going to blink out twice, unfortunately, for us. But let's see if we can get this better angle. He's behind Mike Davenport. Davenport goes under the apron. Scott doesn't exactly follow him down there. He's going to blink out right there. He should blink back in pretty quickly. I hope there he is. So something happened in between him blinking out and Davenport as well. I'm assuming from what we just saw that Davenport must have overcorrected or something of that nature to cause Scott to get launched into the wall like that.
Looks like from my angle here, he touched the apron and overcorrected it. Maybe a little 210 action there.
It could have been. I did not know that Scott McLean ran 210. He might not. I'm not sure, but the steering in this car is already quick enough as it is. It's a rack and pinion sort of steering, which is way faster, way more sensitive than your usual sort of steering in your old Cup cars and your current Xfinity, current trucks, and all of that. And it does make it a challenge, even if you are running on 210, sometimes because that steering can get away from you. But Scott McLean with a destroyed race car. I assume he does still have a faster pair left in this one, which should be good news for him. I don't remember seeing him involved in any crashes prior. So, but he is going to have to tow that car. That will probably result in him going at least one lap down, maybe even two. But we'll take it back live. Field's going through pit stops right here. Let's see if we can get a good little pit lane view. I like this camera. This is a nice one. You see the whole field coming in, getting their pits. The ghost pit crews lifting up the cars, jacking them up on both sides. There we go. It looks like Matt Lee will be the leader of the race. So how about that? Flipping up some track position. Then Garrett Maines, Dylan Jones, Daniel Falkingham, Kyler Wynn, Brian Hennings be the top six. Then you have Chris McCullough, Freddie Basnez, Logan York up to 9th, and Nathan Harper rounding out our top 10. And I think just before we're going to go back racing at the halfway mark here, let's see if we can grab a quick interview with somebody. And I think I know just the guy that we should speak to, the brains behind this race and indeed this series. Kenny McCullough, Landon and Josh in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got you, brother.
Well, I was just talking about how you kind of had this idea and created the series and everything, and the idea to race at the iRacing Superspeedway, something completely different that we're used to. And it started off pretty rough, and then we had some fascinating racing coming up, kind of like these groups, these little factions forming together, trying to advance their way forward. What are your thoughts on the race so far, just as a whole?
I don't think it's been too bad. Like I say, it started out a little rocky at the beginning. It always helps to get in here and practice. It's about the only way you can race these tracks we normally don't run on. But yeah, I think it's about to get a little ugly, though.
I didn't want to say anything about it, but I was having the same thought in my head before we went back live and grabbed you for an interview. But glad you said it, not me. But we're going to find out here. So talk about your race. You know, we saw this group of 5, 6, well, it was originally 7 guys pull away. They then turned into 6, then 5, then 3 after the pit stops. Do you think the group of Kyler Wynn, Daniel Falkingham, and Garrett Maines are the guys to beat out here?
Oh, yeah, week in and week out. I think these guys has got a little bit of laps under their belt now. I don't think they'll be able to get away like they did. I don't think nobody's going to be checking up from this point on.
Well, there we go. That is the prediction from Kenny McCullough, and it's definitely going to turn into some chaotic and fun racing for us to watch. You'll be starting from P11 right here. We appreciate you talking to us. Go get them.
Yes, thank you, brother.
There we go. Series owner Kenny McCullough with kind of an interesting take. I mean, the same take we kind of had. You know, it started off a little rocky and the guys to beat and everything being the kind of big 3, you know, but the field's all packed up here once again, and we know what that means. It's definitely going to be chaos, and more chaos. At least that's my prediction. And I'm sure that Josh Giambrone in the booth does not want that to happen as the race control. That would just be more for him to have to deal with. And I hope we don't have to go through the whole thing we did in the beginning with the one, not even like completing a single lap. But then we went like 30 laps green, and that was real refreshing and really fun to watch. But we're going to see how these guys deal with it. It's going to be Matt Lee on the bottom with Dylan Jones, the guy he was working strongly with in that green flag run. And then the three that pulled away in the same order. Garrett Maines, Daniel Falkham, and Kyler Wynn up top. The pace car is going to roll into pit road right there. He'll be rolling into the box. And Matt Lee will be controlling this restart. Let's see what kind of start he gets. He's going to wait for the green flag to come out and get a pretty good launch, but Garrett gets just as good of one and might actually nose ahead of him right here. That outside line, super organized, way more organized than the bottom is. They're finally getting to Matt Lee, but that's going to clear down all three of those guys. That is bad news for the field. All three, Garrett Maines, Daniel Falkham, and Kyler Wynn, get clear here out of 2. Kind of stranding Freddie Baznez up top with Nathan Harper. Now these guys are side drafting themselves away, I should say, from those 3 guys, and that's absolutely not what they need to be doing. But the rest of the field's kind of taking maybe a little bit calm. We don't see that 4, 5, 6 wide racing we were just seeing at the beginning of the race. The pack has now caught up to the back bumper of Kyler Wynn, so that's good for them. Matt Lee looks like he's content to just sit and ride in line for now. That outside line's still holding strong, though. Go ahead, Josh.
It looks like we got some people that already lost the draft here in the back, though. Looks like we're already breaking into groups about 20 cars back.
It does appear that that is the case. Let's take a look back here and see. Yeah, it's going to be quite a few of these guys, actually. Avery Watkins, kind of the leader of these guys that have somewhat lost it. He's sitting in 19th. Oh, never mind. There's Sean Corbett ahead, and then Ron Morris is the tail end of the lead pack right now. So Sean Corbett going to get caught right here by Avery Watkins. Ooh, big stack up. Oh, they're going to crash. Avery Watkins, and they saved it somewhat. Ryan Schreckengoss ended up in the wall, it looked like. But what a overall save by these guys when they connected. I'm assuming that Schreckengoss was wanting Watkins to go around the slow car of Corbett, and Watkins was content to just push Corbett. Oh, look at these guys on that apron. That's such a tough transition. Now we're 3 wide racing again back here. There goes Schreckengoss into pit road. But back up front, it's kind of what it's been this whole time. It's still the three guys right there of Maines in the 1, Falkingham 48, Wynn in the 82, and then Matt Lee being the last guy on the bottom that's kind of broken away from the outside. Nathan Harper still side drafting the inside. That was all the way back to Dylan Jones in 5th on the bottom. Chris McCullough doing a great job behind Nathan Harper, shoving through him, and then Logan York's probably helping that, shoving through Chris McCullough too.
Looks like we're going to see some more racing here in the back than we are in the front. It seems like that's the thing tonight. Nobody really wants to work together to catch this front pack because they have a chance, but now that they're probably about 6 seconds back now. I can't see the times.
Oh, we're wrecking out back. Scott McLean is around. It looks like that was only Scott McLean potentially involved in the crash. He is stopped on the racetrack. A little bit more damage on his machine. Doesn't look like he should be having to tow his car away. I'm not sure why he's just sitting here. But indeed, Scott McLean, he was involved in the last caution, and now he gets taken out once again. Right here. Let's go back and take a look and see what happened to Scott. This was all the way back. We needed to fix that. Here we go. So, Scott McLean at number 58. They're riding in line right here, and he's kind of jumping around. I noticed this in the live shot. He was jumping around a lot, and then Richard Elliott's going to turn him and then drive right through him. So some connection issues for Scott McLean. It looks like could most likely be the cause of this one. He's going to spin it, try and lock the brakes down, and rear-end it off the inside wall here. Big hit for the 58, spinning like a top. It's kind of a strange look here. A little bit of netcode involved in this one, I would assume. That's just kind of what it looks like to me. Because we see him jumping around, and then all of a sudden just gets hooked, and then Richard Elliott drives right through his car, which usually is a telltale sign of some netcode and internet issues. Get a few more angles here. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I've never really seen that on iRacing. How his car was just jumping like that as violently as it was. At least in an outsider view, you know, you see it in the cars often if you're actually driving on the track, but not usually something you see other than that. Let's go on board, actually. Let's see if we can find Richard Elliott. See what he was seeing as this was going on in front of him. You see him, I would assume this is just, it just looks a little different than those of us drivers are used to. Seeing the car blink in front of him and kind of jumping around. This one is violently jumping around. Bad enough for it to even show up on the replay, and then Richard Elliott just driving right through him. A-okay, I don't even think he got any damage from this. Okay, maybe a little bit of a caved-in nose for Elliott, but nothing too crazy that he should not be able to fix. Get a word with Josh Giambrone. What do you think what are you going to call that one on?
You know, I gave him the black there, but I'm hearing 3 different stories. I mean, my screen, he's moving a little bit, but from Richard Elliott's point of view here, he's a lane up, and then from what I'm seeing on the broadcast here, he's moving everywhere. So I'm just gonna I gave him that EOL, but wherever he ends up, he ends up. I'm not gonna give him another one there. It looked like he was inside of his car for me there, but you know, I don't like calling netcode, but even in the voice chat, he sounds like a robot. So I'm guessing his internet is done for tonight.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate break for Scott McLean, who just had to use his fast repair, and in that onboard shot that we had from Richard Elliott, did sound like the engine expired on the 58 machine as well, when it really shouldn't have. It was just probably seeing that there was a car inside of the nose of the car and the engine getting taken away from that. So, going to be the end of the night for Scott McLean in all likelihood. Tough break for him. He was doing all right. He was kind of in one of those back sort of packs that had formed, but had a clean race car, and unfortunately 2 times in a row getting an expired engine. Some guys coming in and topping off right here. Look at Matt Lee. Interesting. Matt Lee, Vicente Guerrero, David Sheets, Jason Maines coming in to top off. That's kind of surprising to me. I wouldn't think these guys would want to have to go back in the hornet's nest that's been going on. These guys have been losing the draft about 20th place on back every restart. But they're deciding to risk it, and they think it's worth it for the extra fuel advantage they're going to have here. But Avery Watkins is the leader of the race. How about that? Going to stay out here. I think everyone else did pit except for Avery Watkins. Avery Watkins, that's a new name to the community, the money racing community. At least I've never heard of Avery so far in any of these races. Definitely new to the MMS Little Dogs Big Dogs series, but he's going to be out here leading some laps, see if he can contend with these Coke drivers up here and some of the best in the series. Fields 1 to go this time by. Only 4 cautions so far. I will say we are doing better than I think probably anyone expected. Cautions-wise, I should say. We're over halfway and only 4 so far, which is honestly kind of better than some other races that we could say that we've had at normal racetracks, but maybe we can keep it up and get some of that green flag racing and some strategy games being played here. The pace car is going to roll in for Avery Watkins and Garrett Maines on the front row. Field kind of snaking around a little bit right here. But he's going to enter the restart box and go on the green flag. Looks like he's going to get a pretty good jump, but not good enough because Garrett Maines is still going to be a little bit ahead of him right here. Might be able to clear down Kyler Wynn. And now Daniel Falkingham in the back, the guy that was with the combo of Wynn and Maines, is now kind of getting buried on the bottom down there in the 48. What a clear by Kyler Wynn. A tight one for Avery Watkins. Avery did not lift for what Kyler Wynn was trying to throw him. At least that little bit of adversity for Avery Watkins, but now he's kind of riding on the apron. Daniel Falkingham's hooking him, and this is not good. He's actually dropping all the way to the back. So he stayed out, now he's dropping back. Interesting move for Avery Watkins, but up front, Chris McCullough is the leader of the race, followed by Dylan Jones. John Ward's found his way back up here. Wesley Lynch and Freddie Basnez. Garrett Maines, Kyler Wynn, Daniel Falkingham get buried back here out of 4.
Yeah, it looks like they're doing some pretty hard racing. They're going single file here up front, and there's a couple cars jumping out here, but it's not looking like they're trying to make any moves that much up front. All the racing's in the back for some reason. Here they go. They're too wide racing.
Oh
But
yeah,
it looks like
two
they're
by
gonna go.
two now.
Yeah.
Right as you say it, of course, when
Yeah.
as the commentator's curse again, Dylan Jones pushed to the lead by Garrett Maines, somewhat tandeming away. That's not going to last for long because here comes Freddie Baznez and Kyler Wynn behind him. Brian Hennings made his way into the picture now in the 74. There he is pushing Kyler Wynn. I know Brian's not the biggest fan of Kyler Wynn, so it's interesting to see him sitting behind him right here, but I think it's honestly his best choice, and he probably realizes that, just to kind of hang where he is and just make sure he stays in this large group, which is actually kind of holding the draft better than any other restart so far. That's great news for these guys.
Yeah, they still had a lot of cars lose because nobody wants to get up. Everybody's scared of the black flags here on the restarts, even though we will clear them if somebody doesn't catch up. But I've told them multiple times, and they do not want to catch up. Here they go, 3 wide in the middle there. Nathan picks them up. They're going to stay 3 wide for a while.
They're 3 wide, and now they're starting to lose the group of 5. Jones, Maines, Baznez, Wynn, and Hennings. But now Hennings is starting to lose this group as well. He's going to kind of bridge this group back as that little bit of 3 wide action. But now they're single filing back out. Now they're double, and then back to 3 wide. Of course, as we say it, Nathan Harper riding on the door right there, trying to get down in front of Wesley Lynch, Matt Lee, Steve Sizemore stranded to the outside. There's Kenny McCullough trying to find a way to the bottom in the back. And now almost this entire pack, except for maybe 3 cars, are just going to be sitting single file. And again, as I say it, John Ward with the move to the top. Daniel Falkingham going to push him. Chris McCullough follows, and so does Logan York heading into 1.
Yeah, let's see. Here they go, 3 wide in the very back. They're making moves in the very back, and then they're back to single file now, but now double file up front. And Brian Hennings can go up top with him, but he might get left out when that first 3 clear. And Daniel drops to the bottom there and leaves Christopher McCullough out. And now they're going to start. Here comes another run on the outside there with Nathan. I think that's Logan York in the blue car.
Yeah, it is. Where has Logan York been all race? We kind of forget he's in the race, and that usually that's not something that happens if York is racing. You know he's in the race, whether you're driving or not. But here he is making his appearance. How about that? He's going to be the lead pusher to Chris McCullough in the number 2 machine. John Ward, Daniel Falkingham were able to clear with a massive run between those two and Chris McCullough. They decided to take it to the bottom, and unfortunately they just left Chris McCullough completely out. But now Chris is getting picked up by Logan York, Brian Hennings, Matt Lee. You see the run they're building right there. That's a great camera shot. You can see the runs as they are formed. We're on lap 47. They're approaching a lap car right here. It looks like that's going to be Ron Morris in the 76. Going to be going a lap down. But John Ward back to the lead of the race. How about that comeback so far?
Yeah, it looks like, I don't know how he made his way back up to the front there, but it kind of miraculous. They're finally getting stuff together in the back there, single file trying to catch, but it might be a little too late for that. I mean, they're 4 wide. They just dropped back to 3 wide in the very back of the front pack here. And it looks like Jason Maines is going to make that move to jump out there on that outside. He might even take it 3 if he's got the help.
Yeah, he's going to be pushing David Sheets. There was a lot going on that lap. There was someone it looked like might have clipped the apron on the bottom that stacked up Garrett Maines and Brian Hennings behind. Someone got shuffled out through the middle. But they sorted it out, but that allowed Chris McCullough, as we say his name, getting real squirrely, almost getting turned into the outside line. Now he is down on the bottom. So he's not stranded out there now, but that leaves who else but Logan York with a damaged race car, mind you. He still has that right front damage, getting pushed by Freddie Baznez. He might have a look at maybe leading the race. Oh, Matt Lee's going to hook Freddie Baznez. What a save. What a save by the 60 of Baznez. That should have been an overcorrect headshot into the outside wall, and he somehow was able to save it. More contact going on in the back, maybe with Jason Maines and Wesley Lynch. They sort that out as well. Baznez gets shuffled all the way to the back of this pack. What a save. That was absolutely wild.
Yeah, it sucks, though, because when you're leading that outside line, trying to lead a charge there, and you get shuffled out, Now he's in danger of losing the draft if he can't get with these 2 guys in the back there, and he could lose it. I mean, they're not wanting to work together. They don't want to let him in and get behind them. But they got a big run coming on that outside up front here. It looks like Lee's going to be pushing Logan now with David Sheets behind him.
That's an interesting look. I mean, that is Freddie Bazinez's teammate Vicente Guerrero that ended up going around him. These three are not formed up at all. They are already in danger of losing the draft. These guys need to sort it out quick. They are a second behind. Contact at the front. Oh, there we go. Somebody getting turned. Oh, there we go. Big crash. I can't tell who that was. I think that was Kenny McCullough that got turned to the outside wall. We're still wrecking in the back. Nathan Harper's around. David Sheets. And that's maybe, you know what, a blessing in disguise for Freddie Bazinez and Vicente Guerrero and Sterling Theis for not letting.
I think Freddie actually got in that.
Freddie was involved, apparently.
I think so.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of left front damage for the 60 machine. We're going to have to go back and take a look, but that was officially our first big one. Oh, sure enough. Freddie Bazinez, look at the damage. His wheel's not even moving. His left front, look at that. Tons of damage. That is going to be a fast repair taken for Bazinez. So it was not a blessing in disguise, unfortunately for him. But let's go back and see what caused this, because we saw Kenny McCullough get hooked. There it is. You can see it beginning. Bottom right of your screen. We're going to take it up top and see what caused it. So we're 3 wide. Actually, we're going to back this up further because they're... Oh, okay. That's where it started. Okay. Look up front. Watch Logan York in the 02 machine on the outside, that blue and black car. Matt Lee is behind him pushing. Here comes Chris McCullough up the racetrack and is gonna turn Logan York. A little bit of net code. It looked like maybe between the 2 and the 02. York gets turned into Dylan Jones. He saves it. That forces the 3 wide. Kenny McCullough in the 03, there he is in the middle. David Sheets trying to line back up with him. And it looks like he's just going to hook his teammate right here of Kenny McCullough. Kenny trying to save it, gets turned up the track, slaps it up against the wall, spins back down the track in front of David Sheets in the 06. Jason Maines gets turned by Hennings up front. Nathan Harper nowhere to go. Steve Sizemore nowhere to go. Kyler Wynn barely missing it. Scraping the wall in the number 82 machine to miss. And the rest of the field here, they did a relatively good job of getting away from it. Oh, there it is. Nathan Harper coming back up the track. That's where Bazinez is going to get it. Bam! Right there. Nathan Harper. Bazinez nowhere to go, following Sterling Theis through there, who luckily was able to make it through. Bazinez not so lucky. See, Kenny McCullough, good bit of damage on his machine. That's our first big crash of the night here, so surprised it took us 50 laps, I guess, to have that happen, but get a few more looks at this up front so we can see it. York, a good save by Logan York in the 02. Look at him. I mean, he's completely sideways. Saves it. Dylan Jones definitely helping him get the save right there. And then Kenny just gets hooked back down, and then the carnage ensues. Big hit by Bazinez and Harper up top. That killed Bazinez's left front. I'm wondering if Nathan Harper really got a lot of damage from that as well. I'm trying to find him and see if we can get a look at him. Maybe, potentially a little bit. I mean, he's already obviously got damage all over the place. You can see that kind of the toe of that wheel is knocked out. It's nowhere near as bad as Bazinez's was, though. So Harper, not exactly lucky, but at least he didn't get away with as much wheel damage right there. Let's see if we can get an onboard shot. I want to see one. Let's start with Bazinez, actually, and see what he sees through this wreck. So he's all the way back here. He's thinking he's all right. The crash happens. Hits the brakes, and then all of a sudden, Nathan Harper, bam. Nothing Freddie could do. Get a couple more on boards here. Let's see if we can get one with Nathan Harper next. Why not? Let's see if we can find him once again. See, Kenny gets shot out to the outside, and there's absolutely nowhere to go for Nathan. Just Kenny, McCullough, and David Sheets just fall right into his lap. Tough break for a lot of these guys here. We're going to take it back live. Check on the leaders of the race, which is still John Ward, followed by Matt Lee, Daniel Falkingham, Garrett Maines, Kyler Wynn in 5th, Logan York, still with some damage on his car in 6th, Chris McCullough 7th, Dylan Jones 8th, Wesley Lynch 9th, and Jason Maines rounding out the top 10. Good comeback for Jason Maines. He was a lap car early on in this race. He's found his way all the way back to the top 10. Maybe a little bit of damage on his car, but overall, a relatively clean looking number 1 machine. Field has taken a 1-to-go signal. And we're going to be racing once again. It will be 22 laps to go in the race. That was, 5 cautions. That's not that bad, Josh.
Not for this track, especially the way we started. I mean, I figured from seeing the first lap caution, I figured it was going to be a rough one. But the single file racing and pack racing has definitely helped this race a lot.
It did when it was actually single file racing, and then everyone's racing again. There's nothing against racing, of course. That's what we want to see. But at least organized, and I will say it's not like any stupid moves have been made so far. That's always good. No ARCA braking, which, I mean, thank the Lord, right? Considering how wide this racetrack is, there better be no ARCA braking. But so far, so good on that front. There are some guys out of the event. Scott McLean being one of them. Chase Mastretta as well out of the race. Chris Blanchard also. So 3 cars out, and there's still quite a few lap cars out here. Schreckengoss, Vondell, Morris, Emos, Davenport, all a lap down. Michael Wingo as well. I think Michael Wingo is just taking damage right now, fixing his car back up. But up front, it's all Ward and Falkingham. And what I keep my eye on, I keep looking at the 48, the 1, and the 82. I'm seeing where they keep getting lined up. We saw them on a restart where it was Garrett, Falkingham, and Wynn lined up on the outside. They weren't even the control cars, and they easily cleared the bottom line into 1. We'll see if just Falkingham and Garrett can figure that out this time, but John Ward and Matt Lee are going to have something to say about it. Oh, we're wrecking already. There's a massive crash in the back of the track. So is the yellow flag back out here? It looks like the yellow flag has flown again. Mark Vondell in the back. Oh, we're almost still crashing, it looks like, but didn't even take the green flag this time, and already a crash once again. So let's take a look.
Somebody
Already
missed
in the
the
process
shift.
back here. Someone missed a shift.
They
apparently.
downshifted. They downshifted.
See who this might have been. We're going to focus this on Mark Vondell. Not saying it was his fault. Just that was the first car that I saw involved. So here we are. Vondell. Oh yeah. Oh, J.R. Miller just spun it out completely to the right. I guess he did miss a shift. We'll go on board with him. Mark Vondell, innocent bystander here. Nothing he could do. J.R. Miller just spinning back up the racetrack straight into him. Here we go, see it from this view. Potentially JR he's doing fine, and then all of a sudden, it just hooks a right. Vondell right across Baznez's nose as well. Oh, Joey Galati. Evasive action to miss. Good for... Oh my goodness, look at JR Miller. I think it was Sterling Thice or Josh McCullough. Barely missing JR Miller coming back across the racetrack. Here comes David Sheets having a miss as well. Let's go on board JR Miller here. Let's see if we can hear what happened to him. It just, yeah, okay, you can see it on the dash. If the dash is actually reading accurately, yeah, sure enough. He's in second gear, where you see where it says gear 2, and then there it is, just down, well, I mean, that's what it had to be. There's no other excuse for that. The gear change lagged a little bit behind there, but that has all the looks of a missed shift for J.R. Miller in the 78, so... Not a large crash.
No.
But, I mean, the green flag wasn't even waved. And then the next yellow flag had come out, so. That's quite interesting. Not much else to look at right here, so we'll just look at John Ward in the number 92. I wonder if we can get a word with John Ward, actually, and see if he is in here. See if we can talk to him about his race so far. Let's pull him up. John Ward, Landon, and Josh in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
So this has been a very interesting race. So we had lots of crashes at first, where he couldn't even get a single green flag lap in. And then we had a very long green flag run to your detriment because you were kind of off strategy and had to pit by yourself and everything. But now you find your way back in the lead of this thing. Walk us through it.
Yeah, it's been a crazy one. I haven't raced any. I've raced 1 or 2 races, but nothing big here, and this is my first time. So I'm learning. I did get caught off sequence. I had to pit. They had a long run. I wasn't expecting it. So I'm trying to stay on sequence with these guys and keep as much gas as I can in there. But yeah, it's definitely been different. It's for sure, and I'm trying to hang on. That's for dang sure.
Oh yeah, that's what everybody's thinking right now. We're coming to 19 laps to go here, 6 cautions down. What's your strategy for the rest of this? There's a group of 3 guys that are extremely strong, and we saw it happen in the first run. Falkingham, Wynn, and Garrett Maines. Do you think you have what it takes to go out here and beat them here tonight?
They're going to be real tough. I don't know if I can do it by myself. If I can get some help with some of my buddies, maybe we can try to do something with them, but they're going to be real tough. I'm trying to look for a good finish. I'm going to try to stay on the sequence with them and keep as much fuel as I can in there and see how it turns out.
Well, there we go. That's the word from John Ward. Going to be taking P1 here for 19 laps to go. We appreciate you talking to us.
Thank you, Landon.
Definitely got to watch out for John Ward. He is someone pretty underrated when it does come to these cars. I will say he's a very talented race car driver. And I think people kind of look over him sometimes, because they always want to go and look at the Coke guys and then the most winningest normal money racers there are. Well, John Ward is on that list. As of Thursday night, he has won 7 PGR races. That puts him, I think, tied for 2nd or 3rd all time. I want to say probably 3rd. And, I mean, what a run for John Ward. And he's been here since the beginning. He's always someone to watch out for in that number 92, Josh.
Yeah, you know, he is very, like you said, he is very underrated in these cars. I mean, I've seen him this past week or so run these cars a lot more than everybody else, and he is definitely one to watch here. But give me 1 second.
The race control duties taken over. I think everyone needs to give Josh Giambrone and guys like Matthew Baker in the Light Series races, that give them a round of applause, that have to do RC and sit in the broadcast booth. It is a lot to handle. I don't know if I can do it, especially having all these screaming drivers at me every 5 seconds. But go ahead and continue with what you were saying.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Well, it is definitely not easy. You got 60 other guys talking to you in your ear, and then you gotta comprehend what you're saying too. You know. But he's definitely one to watch. But I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna be able to beat out Kyler Wynn and Daniel Falkenham up here.
I think if him and Matt Lee can get hooked up together and put some work in, I think they're going to be one of the threats, probably the main threat to those 3 guys. The green flag's back in the air, 19 laps to go. John Ward, good little run on the bottom. Daniel Falkingham going to be reeling him back in here, going into 1 with the push from Garrett Maines. Logan York driving through Garrett as well. Side by side, nose to nose for the lead right now. Ward the edge entering the corner. Falkingham's going to have the edge out of it. You would think that's in theory how it's supposed to work. And then Garrett Maines giving him that push pretty much automatic. There it is. Falkingham, Maines, York maybe a chance at clearing. Not enough for York. He's trying to. Whoa, he pushed John Ward off the racetrack. It looked like Logan York, he got it, but barely. John Ward is not going to be happy about that one. You got Chris McCullough now up there. Go ahead.
Ward's definitely got some words for him going in the driver chat.
No surprise there. Logan York, very aggressive race car driver, rubs a lot of people the wrong way, but he's on a mission with his damage number 02. John Ward does not want to be behind him anymore. He's going to take that run from Matt Lee, see if they can contend. Oh, he's going to hop back down. Apparently they did not have enough of a run there. Thought better of it. Probably a wise choice. Don't hang yourself out there. But Kyler Wynn, take a look at him. I'm not going to say he's buried back in 6th, but he is back in 6th. Chris McCullough. Oh, what a deke from Chris McCullough in the 2. He showed Kyler, go up, I'll push, and then he put him right back down. And Kyler Wynn side drafted him, and then Jason Maines in that number 1 working his way up here, up to P7 now. And it's kind of single filing out here. Kyler Wynn finds a spot behind Jason Maines. Brian Henning's now the leader of the outside line, although they are all the way back 9 rows deep out of 4.
Yeah, it looks like that 5-car pack in the front might break away again if they're not careful. I mean, these guys are sitting here side drafting each other back and like pulling each other back, and this group is starting to break away. Kyler's gonna get left by himself here if he's not careful, but they're all gonna go single file in front, and they're just 2-3 wide in the back of them. They're trying to catch him, but they're not gonna catch him 3 wide. As simple as that.
Well, Jason Maines and Kyler Wynn have other ideas. They don't want their group to pull away because they're going to pull out to the outside, leave Chris McCullough hanging. It looked like Chris was going to be the one that tried to take it, but at the end of the day, it's the 1 in the 82. Not much progress being made by those two, though. Kind of just stuck out there. They need some more help, but it is helping. Oh, Matt Lee's getting turned. They're trying to save it, and they saved it. What a save. Oh, it's still happening. Chris McCullough holding on for dear life, and he saves it. What a job by Matt Lee and Chris McCullough to hang on to their race cars. Someone else going under the apron in the back of the pack right there with a far back pack, but what a job by those guys. But that has allowed Kyler Wynn to work his way to 4th. Trying to fit in behind Brian Hennings is not going to be allowed by the 74 machine. Kyler Wynn hung out to dry. And now everyone's catching back up. Here comes Freddie Baznez, the number 60. We saw him involve 2 cautions in a row. He's back at it. He's going to go up there with Jason Maines. Now there's this group of 3. These guys are side drafting. This is Falkingham, Maines, and York. York is not on the bumper of Garrett Maines, so they're not going to exactly pull all the way away. But now there's a gap. It's just 9 cars here. How about Sean Corbett in the 45 machine? He's the back of this pack, working his way back up. Sean Corbett has been looking great in money racing recently, and he finds himself in 8th, call it 7th, with 15 laps to go here. The backpack is just Matt Lee going to be leading it. They're finally organized. They're 1.3 seconds back. They should, in theory, be able to catch. James Waring, the lead pusher on Matt Lee, followed by Dylan Jones, Nathan Harper, and Steve Sizemore in this pack. They're actually separated. Harper's not even close to Dylan Jones. So if these guys get caught up, they do not need to be racing. I'm pretty sure Matt Lee's going to be screaming that to him, and they're racing. There goes Jeremy Osborne to the outside. I don't know if that was deliberate or what, but Sterling Theis is going to take care of that and go under Jeremy Osborne. And now these guys are starting to catch back up. Back up front, it's Falkingham, Maines, Ward now, Hennings, Bazinez in 5th, Corbett in 6th, Wynn back to 7th, Jason Maines 8th, Logan York all the way back in 9th. In danger of losing the draft back here is Logan York. That nose damage, of all the times he doesn't want to have that, it's right now, because it's definitely going to be hurting his efforts to catch back up to this lead pack.
Yeah, it looks like he just got shuffled out there in the back there. He might have been getting hot or something, but Ward was able to get under him and push him up and out with no run on that outside to help him. He just got pushed to the back there. But it looks like Jason and Kyler are going to try to go with Corbett not letting them down. They might... I don't think they're going to have enough cars to actually do anything on the outside there. But it looks like they don't want to go down, but they are going to have to go down to stay with the draft. And you got Lee pushing York in the second pack here trying to catch, which, I mean, Lee's a pretty good pusher. He will probably be able to push Logan back up to the front there.
Yeah, we saw Matt Lee surprisingly decide to pick up Logan York. He didn't try to go around him and stick with the momentum. He picked him up, and that shuffled James Waring out because James was expecting Matt to just go around him, and then Dylan Jones took advantage to be 3rd on that bottom. And I think this what looked like it might have been a bad choice at first, might turn out to be good. They're slowly reeling them in, just 100th of a second by 100th of a second at a time. It's slowly eating back at that lead pack, but right now it's not good enough. We need to keep an eye on Sean Corbett. He is the back of this pack. Look on your leaderboard, 8th and 9th. That is the relative between these two packs right now. And now they lost a lot right there, Logan York and Matt Lee did. So they got to figure something out and figure it out quick. We're coming to 12 laps to go, and this is just an 8-car race up front right now.
Well, it looks like Garrett Maines and John Ward is calling out, and Kyler Wynn. They are pitting in this time by right here, right now. This is where they're going to... Oh, it looks like all the front pack is going to go.
So is everybody else.
Pack's going to go
Everybody's coming in.
Yep.
They're all coming into pit here. Oh, Logan York going to hit Sean Corbett in the rear. Nathan Harper some contact. In the back, I think they're going to be okay for the most part. But sure enough, good call on that one. That's going to turn the lead over to Joey Galati and J.R. Miller for the pit cycle. But here's everybody. I mean, the entire main guys involved in this, here they are pitting. So many guys right here coming in and pitting. Now, this has the potential of breaking up the field again. Let's see what we got here. Hennings might have won the race off the pit road if it was under caution, but he has no sort of run. Falkingham's definitely going to be the leader here. A little bit of a 3-car breakaway, but these guys aren't connected yet. They still got to make it around the apron and out of turn 2 if they can get connected. There's Kyler Wynn trying to get up to Garrett. Let's go back to Kyler and see the gap to Brian Hennings. Okay, Dylan Jones behind. These guys got to figure it out quick. They are going to get gapped, and it's just going to be a 4-car race between Daniel Falkingham, John Ward, Garrett Maines, and Kyler Wynn if these guys don't figure it out. And right now, they're not figuring it out. Never mind, the yellow flag comes out. James Waring in the back of turn 2.
That sucks. That is an iRacing caution. Only one car actually wrecked, but he was dead stopped on the track, so it threw it.
Let's go ahead and take a look. So it looks like this was actually on the pit cycle for James Waring. The 13 machine. This is a very difficult, well, I shouldn't say difficult. It's not really a difficult pit exit, but it's not what you're used to in super speedways. He's spinning it out, still saving it, driving in the grass, and then it just steps out from under him, back onto the racing surface, triggers the yellow flag by iRacing. So we did have our green flag pit stop. We almost had our strategic racing, green flag racing take back over, and that is all for naught now because of James Waring spinning on the track. Not saying James, I mean, I understand him completely. There's a lot of times, if either you're not paying attention or just catches you off guard, just how loose that pit exit is on the apron for these guys, especially in these next-gen cars. That can't blame James at all for that happening to him, but that's going to cause the yellow flag.
That pit exit is there's no banking. And especially with these cars, they get loose very quickly.
Yep. It's a challenging one. I mean, we can see guys get loose all the time. Then again, James right here in 13, he didn't really take a wide arc into it. I noticed Kyler Wynn earlier in the race on the green flag pit stop take a very wide arc all the way into that yellow striped area to try and maximize his speed and grip around the corner. You want to kind of swing that out as much as you can. James didn't do that. That might have contributed to the lack of grip and him spinning out here onto the racetrack. I'll tell you what, he's lucky. He's lucky he didn't get killed by Vicente Guerrero there in the 14 who just went by, or anybody else on the racetrack. But lucky for him, I think everyone else was in pit road, basically. So he's going to get away not getting T-boned by anyone else in the field. But that does draw the yellow flag. With 11 laps to go, 7th caution, currently 10 laps to go. Joey Galati is the leader of the race, followed by all these guys. I think Galati is riding ahead of the pace car right here. Not sure if he's just trying to save some fuel or what's going on, but Joey Galati in the 661 going to be the leader. Presumably he's going to come in pit, I would think, right here, followed by Falkingham, Ward, Maines, Wynn, Hennings, Jones, Lee, Basnez, Harper, York, Chris McCullough, Sterling Thies, Steve Sizemore, Sean Corbett, Josh McCullough, Kenny McCullough, Wesley Lynch, Jeremy Osborne, and David Sheets. Going to be the top 20 when we restart with, I would say, about 8 laps to go here. Cautions are kind of ramping up. Cautions breed cautions, as they say, and who knows what we're going to have right here. There's Galati, still the leader of the race here. We'll see if he wants to come in and pit. If he doesn't, if Joey Galati does not come in and pit here, that's going to throw a wrench into things for these guys. I'm sure Daniel Falkingham didn't expect for anyone to stay out in front of him right here, but Joey Galati chose to. Now, Joey Galati does not have anywhere near the amount of fuel that the rest of these guys have. That caution came out during a green flag pit cycle. Joey Galati did not pit with everybody else, so I don't know what kind of fuel number he has. Maybe Joey Galati's good for the rest of the race, and if that's so, a power move by Joey Galati here, Josh.
Yeah, if Galati's got enough fuel, I mean, he did a great job of getting himself up front and cycling through. I mean, in race chat here, they're all trying to figure out who's leading, because it's supposed to be Daniel Falkingham there, but it looks like it's going to stay Galati, and he's going to see what happens. I'm just worried about Ward, Kyler, Garrett, and Falkingham shuffling him out and taking off again.
That is a worry, and that would definitely be bad for Joey Galati. I mean, if we had got a Joey Galati win, I think everybody would celebrate. That'd be an underdog victory. I think everyone would want to see that. But it's going to be a tall order considering the guys he's around. 8 laps to go, going to be leading the race. Keep an eye out for that red and black number 661 machine of Galati. He's going to have John Ward pushing him, and then Kyler Wynn and Dylan Jones. These guys are going to be pushing 4 or 5 cars deep on Galati to try and get him the lead into the corner, clear of the outside. But that outside line is home to Daniel Falkingham and Garrett Maines. And we've seen how they've been working so far in this race. This is interesting. This is really, really interesting. We're going to see how John Ward handles Joey Galati. Can Joey Galati hang on to this tandem he's about to receive? Maybe Joey Galati comes out here and shocks the world. I know I'm cheering for it. We're going to see. Pace car is going to roll in this time by the field back to 2x2. Double file Galati is going to roll into the restart zone. Kind of swerving around a little bit, that outside line, getting it. Galati's going to launch. There we go. Not a good launch on the bottom. Falkingham is already clear of the bottom, but they're all connected here heading into one. I'm pretty sure Garrett Maines, Brian Hennings, Matt Lee, they might all be clear here. At least 3 of them are. Hennings going to chop down in front of Galati. Whoa, lots going on. Oh, Galati gets turned by John Ward. Back up the track. Dylan Jones, Steve Sizemore.
Still wrecking.
And I feel terrible. There's still Kyler Wynn involved. Kyler Wynn. Massive hit to the outside wall. He's going to have to tow his car away. What a massive turn of events here. Kyler Wynn. He's not out of the race. I won't say that. But, I mean, he just took a shot to the outside wall. And he had to tow that thing away. That's going to be a long tow for him because that was in, like, turn 2. So, what a turn of events. Let's go back and see. We saw Joey Galati, unfortunately, get turned but here, it looks like by John Ward. Let's take this up to a top-down view and see what really started this. The outside line completely swung out from Harper and the 4 back. They swung outside. There had to be a reason for this. Let's see, it might have been Galati. Galati clipped the apron. That's what it was. Joey Galati clips the apron. Harper, Jones, McCullough take evasive action. Galati tries to file back in front of John Ward, and he just doesn't have it. He's going to turn himself across John Ward's nose in the 92. And then he's going to continue. Oh, there's where Kyler Wynn got involved. He got a little bit of Joey Galati's rear end right there. Galati going to come back up. Clip Dylan Jones and Steve Sizemore nowhere to go. And then back up to Kyler Wynn. Change this real quick. He comes back down across John Ward and Bazinez, trying to save it, overcorrects, and is going to nose it head first into the wall right there. Big hit. The wreck continues. John Ward, Bazinez kind of pushed John Ward out of the way into the wall. There goes the destroyed machine of Steve Sizemore. David Sheets getting a piece on the apron. Avery Watkins, Wesley Lynch doing everything they can. There's Josh McCullough in the 8, spinning down in the grass. This was a large accident we just had here. I kind of expected this, but I didn't at the same time, considering some of the guys this took out here, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, it took out a lot of front runners that have been running this entire race up, like they're up front. Like they've been breaking away from the packs, and the whole field is flipped upside down now. I mean, you still got Garrett Maines, Daniel Falkingham up front, but Kyler's gonna be in the back. Ward's going to be back if they still have their fast repairs. I mean, you still got Lee up front. It looks like Logan's going to be in the back as well. Like you got guys that have been up front all race that are starting in the back now with what do we got? 4, 5, 6 left to go? Like,
yeah. So it's going to be a charge from a lot of these guys back up to the front. There's Josh McCullough in the 8. Looks like he's going to skate away with minimal damage. So that's good news for him. But Kyler Wynn, like you said, he'd had to tow that thing back. That's the story here. Kyler Wynn getting taken out here. One of the front runners of the race. Completely taken out. Let's take this back live real quick. I will get a couple more replays. I want to see if Kyler's still in the pits. He is. Kyler Wynn is still towing. He's got to be at least 1 lap down here. I believe he already is 1 lap down. Not good news for Kyler Wynn. Sure enough, he is going to be Maybe not a lap down just yet, but he's on the way. Oh, he's actually over 2 laps down. He's going to need a miracle at this point. Let's go and let's get some onboard shots. Let's get one with Kyler Wynn, in fact. This is Dylan Jones. Let's see if we can switch that to Kyler Wynn. Here we go. So Kyler's kind of, he's like 6th, 7th on the bottom now, getting shuffled back. Look at Nathan Harper dart up the racetrack. Galati gets spun. Kyler nowhere to go. Spinning it back down the track. I'm sure some wheel damage had something to do with this, and then went back up the track. Engine expires. Still driving it, even though there's no point because the car is dead, but sure enough. Let's see, get a couple more views here. Let's see Josh McCullough. Let's see how he got involved here. He was kind of further in the back of this. He sees it start in front. Evasive action down to the bottom, trying to go down the apron, but that apron is violent. You can't get down there. Josh tried it twice, and he ends up just spinning the car out to avoid getting any further damage. Not a bad choice by Josh here. Probably a good move to at least just spin the car out and minimize any potential damage of that massive crash in front. But there we go. So that's huge. I mean, that is absolutely huge. But that gives control of the race over to Daniel Falkingham and Garrett Maines, the 2 leaders of both lines here, followed by Brian Hennings, who's found his way into a podium spot. Matt Lee 4th, Nathan Harper 5th, Freddie Baznez back up into 6th. It's going to be Chris McCullough back in 8th. Logan York takes over 7th, and now they're swapping again. Kenny McCullough back into things. He's back up into 9th, and then Wesley Lynch going to round out the top 10. Followed by Sterling Theis. How about that? Sterling Theis, who's someone new to Money Racing. He's run the past couple PGR Light Series races and some PGR events, Money Racing here and there. He's got to look at this thing, at least a good solid top 10 finish in that number 41 machine for Sterling Theis. We've got to keep an eye on him. Then Sean Corbett back there. He had a look early in the race when there was an 8-car breakaway and he was at the back of it. He had a look at it. The wrecks start happening and everything, and now he's sitting back in the 12th position. But he's got to look at it too. I think this is anybody's race to win. Pace car, violent down into pit road. That's kind of crazy to see the pace car drift down there into pit road. But it's going to be Daniel Falkingham and Garrett Maines into the restart box. Falkingham launches, Maines launches. Pretty even start here. Nobody really connected to the back bumper of either one. Dan coming up the racetrack to try and side draft Garrett's not going to be good enough. Garrett Maines well clear of Falkingham. So is Matt Lee. Baznez might have a look. Doesn't quite have it. We're wrecking again. Kenny McCullough gets turned in the back of the pack. In that 03, there he is spinning. Oh, we're still wrecking. What's going on here? Galati and Vondell. Look at Mike Davenport bouncing around. He's going to spin in the 55. Goes from bad to worse for Joey Galati. So there we go. Caution number 9. This time Kenny McCullough getting spun out.
Yep.
Right as we were talking about him. Let's go see it.
Tunnel vision.
Is that what we had here? Maybe a case of that. Let's take a look. Going into turn 1, Logan York going to go down. Sterling Theis might have come up a little bit. Clipped Kenny in the 03. Spun him right around. Whipped the 03 machine around. Not much he could do. He's going to spin back up. Oh, Wesley Lynch kept a clean car all race. Getting shoved up into the air right there, into the wall. The wreck continues. Kenny, no steering, obviously. Wesley Lynch, no steering either. He's going to come down, clip Jeremy Osborne. Osborne's going to go away okay. Kenny, not so much. Vondell takes evasive action into Joey Galati up front here. Galati, innocent bystander. Nothing he could do. Wiped out by Mark Vondell trying to avoid his team owner, Kenny McCullough, right here. And then Mike Davenport down there on the bottom. Missing it too, bouncing the car and spinning it out. Shades of Josh McCullough, just spinning the car out. Make sure you don't get any further damage. Let's take a few more looks at this. Kenny McCullough getting spun. Look at that hit for Wesley Lynch at the 33. That was violent. Then back down. And then just continuing up there. A couple more looks here. This is focused on Galati here in the 661. He's on the brakes, missing it. Then just bam. Big hit for the 59 and the 661 machine. Let's take a look at Wesley Lynch as well. That's a shame for Wesley. Had such a great run going. Looks like he might have had to tow his car away or maybe continue driving. Yeah, he had to tow. Tough break for Wesley Lynch here. Let's see. Focus this on him, see what he's seeing. I mean, he just gets blindsided. He sees the wreck happen, and then bam. What a hit. And then no steering whatsoever. The rear tires, rear wheels are completely bent out of shape. The front wheels are. The fender is floating like a ghost next to him, trying to reattach itself to the car unsuccessfully. That's not going to be enough to repair that thing. But so there we go. Another wreck into turn 1. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that will lead us into overtime. Before we take it back live, let's get an onboard with Wesley Lynch. See what he sees. The wreck unfolding in front of him. Kenny McCullough. That red and gray 03 machine. Bam. Brutal for Wesley Lynch. Take it back up front. There's Joey Galati in the pits. Wesley Lynch, it appears, has disconnected from the session. That is definitely a shame. He is out of tonight's race. Someone that had such a consistent run tonight. Not how he wanted it to end. Take some looks here. There's going to be Galati in the pits. Vondell. We know he took a fast repair earlier. Vondell's night's going to be done. Mike Davenport's still alive, albeit in 29th position. 2 laps down. Last car on the lead lap appears to be Dylan Jones in 24th. So we still got, at least as of now, 24 cars that have a chance to win this race, all the way back to Dylan Jones. Definitely someone to watch out for here, I should say. Kyler Wynn, there he is, getting a lap back here. Back to 1 lap down. He's going to need 1 more and get that lucky dog if he wants to have any chance. But field's 1 to go for Garrett Maines, Daniel Falkingham, Freddie Bazinez, Brian Hennings, Christopher McCullough, Nathan Harper, Logan York, Sterling Thice up into 8th, Joshua McCullough in 9th, and then Avery Watkins finding a way in the top 10. Sean Corbett just behind him. So I have absolutely no idea what to expect here, Josh. I don't know if this, you can't really call this a lock for like Garrett Maines or Daniel Falkingham or anything like that. I mean, this is, I think we're in for something crazy about to happen.
Oh yeah, I mean, you got Freddie up front still. I mean, you can never count Freddie out. He makes things happen, and it's simple as that. But you also have one of the more veteran guys, Corbett. He is on the bottom line, but he can always make something happen as well. I mean, you never know with Corbett. He drives really good sometimes, and he's been doing really good this race. You got Ward back there still. You got a lot of these guys that have been running up front towards the back. And, I mean, and now say we get another yellow. Kyler Wynn gets his lap back, and now you got Kyler in the mix again, too. You never know, you know? I mean, we don't have a very good streak of running it out or, like, running green flag, you know? But you never know. We could get green or we could go back yellow immediately.
Well, we're about to find out right here. It's going to be Maines and Bazinez, the leaders of the lines, into the box. Maines is going to launch a little bit better than Bazinez on that outside, but we've seen that outside line pull better than any other one has. Looks like someone ditched the outside for the bottom. Couldn't tell who that was, but Bazinez with the nose out ahead of Maines into 1. Falkingham giving it to him to the back of Garrett Maines as much as he can. Only 2 cars on that outside. Freddie Bazinez and Chris McCullough. Logan York's going to take a peek at it. Trying to hop back up there. No run yet. Get the back. Sterling Thice going to try and lead the charge. Nathan Harper's going to hop up behind Christopher McCullough. And here we go. Bazinez getting a look at the lead here. Chris McCullough trying to get him clear. There he is. Bazinez in front of Garrett Maines. We're wrecking. Sterling Thice is going to spin out. He's going to maybe come back onto the racetrack if he... Oh, there it is. Oh, my goodness.
There it is. All right. Well, Kyler Wynn is back in the mix now.
He might be. Was Kyler Wynn involved in the accident?
Does not look like it.
No, he was... Not really sure. Jimmy Emos maybe involved. Almost hitting the wall back there. Matt Lee crab walking right here. Look at Matt Lee. Kind of... I don't know if I've ever seen a next-gen car crab walk like his is, but... Matt Lee, someone that was up front too, is just getting worse and worse for him. Let's take a look. I'm going to focus this on Sterling Thice. I'm wondering if this is the origin of this accident because we saw him spin down and make what was a great save. down there. He's trying to, it looks like, hop in front of Sean Corbett. Corbett doesn't give it to him. Spins the 41 down the racetrack. He's going to try and bring it back up, and he actually had nothing to do with this. There's 2 separate wrecks instead of this. Okay, that's what happened. So let's back this up again. 2 wrecks.
3 separate wrecks, actually, if you're not if you're counting Sterling.
So 3, but I mean a save by Sterling, and my apologies to Sterling for thinking he was the cause of this. He had nothing to do with this. It was a great save by him. Further up, let's just focus this on Matt Lee potentially. And see, okay, we got to pause this and make sure we're getting this right. So the one that starts up front, that's Avery Watkins in the 10 and J.R. Miller. They're 3 wide heading into turn 3. Watkins and Miller just come together. It's going to spin Miller down into Sean Corbett. Corbett might have a look at saving that Miller back up into Matt Lee. Matt Lee know where he could go. And then Jimmy Emo's going to get a piece in the 67. Rough night for J.R. Miller. See James Waring a net code off of J.R. Miller, get a little bit more damage. So that's what that one was about. And the other one seemed to involve Josh McCullough in the 8. And James Waring. Josh McCullough kind of coming up the racetrack. Waring coming down, it looks like. They just come together, end up driving themselves into the wall. Josh trying to get it off of him. He can't do it. Waring hard into the wall. McCullough spinning it out. Maybe not a lot of damage, maybe some wheel damage. Never mind, take that back. Right rear wheel damage for Josh McCullough. So, 3 separate things going on here on this restart. Let's just get a couple more angles of this. Let's focus on Josh McCullough, Sterling Thies. Great job not coming back up on the racetrack, but contact between the 8 and the 13 is going to send them around. And then further up, J.R. Miller and Matt Lee and Avery Watkins. Bam! Matt Lee, nothing he could do at all. Just crab walking. Good job on him for not spinning it back out. I will say, back down in front of the field, as hard as that thing is to control, I mean, that thing is absolutely destroyed for the 04 of Matt Lee. Let's go on board with him and see what he saw in this crash. He sees this happen right in front of him. He knows they're wrecking somewhere down there. He just hopes it doesn't come back up and get him, and bam! In the blink of an eye, just gets tank slapped right into the wall, slapped right up against it, and I don't think that's the end of the night for Matt Lee. Pretty sure he came in and took a fast repair right here. That is good for him. He's still in it, but he obviously didn't want to get wrecked. So there we go. That was a fun one to go back and see. There is Matt Lee riding up next to the outside wall with a brand new race car, but he's going to have some work to do if he wants to have any shot at not just winning, let alone cashing in this race. He's in 19th place. And it's not out of the realm of possibility by any means, but as Josh Giambrone alluded to, let's take a look at this guy. Look who's back on the lead lap. Kyler Wynn.
Kyler Wynn?
Kyler Wynn is back on the lead lap, and he's in 23rd position. As of now, there's still 2 more lap cars that'll come by. Lead lap cars, Josh McCullough and James Waring. He might have to yield to them and start behind them. So he's starting somewhere 23rd, 25th, 24th, somewhere in that range. So he's one that we are going to have to keep our eyes on. But up front, it was a timely caution for Freddie Bazinez because he was the leader at the time of the yellow. That will turn the control of the race over to him. He's going to have Garrett Maines to his outside, Daniel Falkingham behind Freddie, and then Chris McCullough behind Garrett Maines. Followed by Nathan Harper, Brian Hennings, Logan York, Jason Maines, Richard Elliott has found his way to the top 10, and then Sean Corbett in the 45. Josh, what overtime attempt is this?
This is number 2 out of 3.
Number 2 out of 3.
We'll
So
one more.
If we don't get it this time,
we will be running out the 3rd.
Yes, we will be running out third. The 3rd overtime will not end under the yellow flag, which is great for the fans out there and us broadcasters to get to watch the race finish out not under yellow. Who knows if we're going to need it, though. Pace cars in for Bazinez, Maines, Falkingham, and McCullough. Into the box. Here they come. Bazinez is going to launch right here. The green flag's back out. Garrett Maines getting a little bit squirrely. good kind of push, but no connection between him and Chris McCullough. That should be a little bit of an advantage to the bottom line, Bazinez and Falkingham, but they get connected. Now Garrett Main's going to have a look at the lead into 1. Not clear just yet. The inside's fighting back. The push from the 48 and the 74. Garrett Main's still fighting on the top. Going to have a little bit of a run. Everyone's getting all over the place right here, just following around. Someone's going to shoot it 3 wide. Ron Morris. Matt Lee's going to go with him. Logan York potentially also in the back. Garrett Main's is clear. Chris McCullough is as well. Going to hop down in front of Freddie Bazinez as the now 2 leaders of the race. Garrett Main's back to the lead, taking it over from Bazinez. We got to watch out. That's a friendly for Bazinez up on the outside, stranded. Nathan Harper, we're 3 wide in the back. I think we're going to get the white flag here. Here they come out of 4, single file. Falkingham going to take a look at it. Logan York's going to go with him. 4 on the bottom, 2 on the top. York thinks better of it. Bazinez trying to think better of it. Hennings lets him back in. White flag is out. Still single file. Who's going to make the move, and when are they going to do it? Chris McCullough still sitting behind Garrett Maines. Bazinez as well, Hennings, and York. Does Logan York have a look at this? Where did Jason Maines come from? He's now in 6th. Harper in 7th. Falkingham all the way back to 8th. It's all single file. Matt Lee's around in the back. Still single file. Logan York going to take a look at it. Jason Maines behind him. Bazinez taking a peek as well in the 60. There he goes. Garrett Maines going to block the top. Interesting move by Garrett Maines. Bazinez down to the bottom. Now Bazinez and York. What kind of move are they going to cook up right here to try and take this one away from Garrett Maines? Heading out of 4. Still single file. Bazinez low. Bazinez high. York doesn't go with him. York turns Garrett Maines. York turns Garrett Maines. It's an easy win for the comeback kid, Freddie Bazinez, who wins again in the next-gen cars, and the entire field is going to crash out back. Wow. Nathan Harper finds a way to 2nd. Daniel Falkingham on a podium spot in 3rd. Sean Corbett, what a finish for Sean in 4th. And Chris McCullough in 5th. Freddie Bazinez is unstoppable in the next-gen car. I swear.
Don't count him out.
You never can count out Freddie Bazinez. But Garrett Maines, from what I saw right there, I think Garrett Maines just got hooked by Logan York. And we're going to have to go back and see this. Because Bazinez... So they rake out back. Okay, that's where this kind of started. John Ward's spinning out back. But let's go up and focus this on Logan York in the 0-2. Bazinez looked low, and then he looked high. York, it seemed like, didn't really know where he wanted to go. It looked like he was going to go with Garrett at first. He saw some room down on the bottom. Look at Bazinez up to the top, going to get that side draft. York doesn't go with him. Logan York thinks about it and then drops back down. He sees Garrett moving up the track. There's a wide open lane right here for Logan York. And then, yeah, Logan York just kind of hooks him right there.
Yeah,
hooks Garrett Maines. That's going to spin York back up the track into Jason Maines. Unfortunately, nowhere to go. Nathan Harper going to come home in 2nd. Falkingham narrowly avoiding. So is Chris McCullough and Sean Corbett. And then the wreck continues. Richard Elliott in the back of Logan York. Vicente Guerrero into the back of Jason Maines. There's Sterling Thice, David Sheets. Wow. So, some controversy here. And, you know, MMS Money Racing does have a rule. If you do wreck someone out of a money position within the last 2 laps of an event, you are subject to either losing 50% of your pay or an EOL. It's kind of different. It kind of alternates sometimes. However, Logan York did not cash. So, Garrett Maines is going to walk away from this upset with no money, basically, because Logan York, he did just kind of wreck Garrett Maines here coming to the line. I see what Logan was trying to do, and obviously it wasn't intentional. He saw Garrett move back up the racetrack, kind of baited him into doing it. Logan down to the bottom, and it just wasn't there for him, Josh.
Yeah, I don't really know about that move though for Logan. Like if he would have went with Freddie, I think he would have finished 2nd no matter what. Like they would have left Garrett in the dust there, but he decided not to go with Freddie. Mind you, one of his old teammates again left him out, just like last week when he left out Nathan Harper.
Yeah, Logan
Nathan
York
Harper left him out.
Yeah,
Nathan Harper left him out.
Definitely some hurt feelings going on around the PBG camp. On board with Logan York here, and yeah, I mean, there's really not much else to say. It's unfortunate because Logan had a look at, at least 2nd place, maybe even a win here tonight. But just maybe a mistimed move, the wrong move. There's really no explaining it. It is disappointing for Logan York, but we're gonna go ahead and go through your final results here.
And it looks like there will be no review due to Logan not cashing.
There it is. No review. The 4-person panel will not be called because Logan York did not cash. So that is unfortunate for both of them. Logan York comes away with nothing, and then so does Garrett Maines. Just an unfortunate deal right there coming to the line, but at the end of the day, it's Superspeedway racing coming to the white flag, coming to the checkered flag, I should say. It's just something that kind of comes with the territory. But let's go through these final results here. Freddie Baznez, your winner once again here tonight in the Next Gen Cars. Nathan Harper in second. Daniel Falkingham in third. Sean Corbett fourth. Christopher McCullough fifth. Brian Hennings in sixth. Jason Main seventh. Logan York eighth. Vicente Guerrero in ninth. And Sterling Thice will finish 10th. Richard Elliott will finish 11th. David Sheets in 12th. Jeremy Osborne 13th. Dylan Jones 14th. Ron Morris 15th. J.R. Miller 16th. Garrett Maines all the way back to 17th. Michael Wingo in 18th. 19th place here tonight will be Joshua McCullough. Kyler Wynn back in 20th. Avery Watkins 21st. John Ward 22nd. Matt Lee 23rd. Ryan Schreckengoss 24th. James Waring 25th. Jimmy Emos 26th. Mike Davenport in 27th. Mark Vondell 28th. 29th will be Joey Galati, Kenneth McCullough Jr. in 30th. Wesley Lynch, 31st. Steve Sizemore, 32nd. Scott McLean, 33rd. Chase Mastretta, 34th. Chris Blanchard will round out the field here tonight in 35th position. Well, stick with us real quick. We're going to go ahead and grab your top 3 for interviews. We will be right back. Welcome back to race number 3 of the Little Dogs Big Dog series presented by MMS Money Racing. We're going to go ahead and kick off tonight's post-race festivities with your third place finisher, Daniel Falkingham. Daniel, Landon, and Josh in the booth, do you have a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
So that was a hectic and at times very calm race. It kind of had a little bit of everything here tonight. Walk us through your race because you were one of the dominant cars here tonight, and you kind of lost some of the guys that you were working with in the beginning, Garrett and then Kyler. But you still managed to tread your way back and finish third here tonight. Walk us through it.
Yeah, thankfully with Garrett and Connor, we were working pretty good, like just getting through pit stops and all that. We were able to break away from the field, and unfortunately we had a caution flag that ended that sadly. But no, like shout out to them for like we worked really well there throughout the whole race. We like you say we have to split up through some of the pit cycle and all that, but right there, me and Garrett were up there up front at the end. Still working together, but at points we were pretty much just trying to work for ourselves too. So, especially coming to the white flag when I like all the restarts getting jumbled up and whatnot, and I got put back in line a little bit. But I tried to make my move coming to the white because I was hoping Hennings would come with me because I know me and him always seem to find each other at the end of these races and work really well together. So I was hoping when I made the move coming to the white, he could go with me, but he did, which at the end of the day it's his choice. Because like we're all trying to race to the win and all that, try to put ourselves in the best spot. But so yeah, definitely a mistake on my part. Probably should have just stayed in line right there. But thankfully we were able to get back in line, and we were able to just get ourselves back into a decent spot where we could take advantage of all the carnage that happened at the end. We were able to get a podium out of it. So we'll still take it, take the payout, and we'll move on.
Yeah, I mean, a good solid finish for you here tonight. Walk us through your thoughts on just this combination in general. We expected it to be pretty chaotic. What threw me off guard was that long, like 20, 30 lap run we had. But it seemed to be the cars can get very strung out very easily. That comes naturally with the next gens. What are your thoughts, just in general, of the racing product, like this racetrack here tonight, and the combination with the next gen car?
Yeah, with iRacing Superspeedway in general, you know the racing's gonna be crazy. But what's really tricky is people can hit the apron pretty easily going to the corners because just entering the corners, like it's such like the undulation going into the corners and just how the banking like drops off where you're falling into the corner. It's kind of like Dover in a way, but we're going in there like 210 mile an hour chipping out. But it's like I said, it's very easy to hit the apron and set off some of these wrecks, which end up happening. But it's like you're gonna get that no matter what car you're gonna race. So it's just something you got to watch out for, especially when you're right behind somebody and you can't like see the drop off into the banking, and you can hit that apron very easily, which I've done many, many times here. So yeah, prayers. That whole part was really, really tricky with that you had to watch out for. But other than that, still your good old super speedway racing where just the moves are crazier, the wrecks are bigger, and just you got such a long, long way to the finish line when you're trying to make a move come to the finish, as you saw with like G mains and all them. Unfortunately, they all wrecked and whatnot, but. Pretty much, you take everything, you do all the stuff that we do at Daytona Talladega, just multiply that times 10, and I think that's the best way to describe all the racing at this track in particular.
Yeah, that definitely is a very, very good way to describe it. Well, go ahead and give out all your thanks and your shout-outs.
Yeah, I got to thank Kenny for putting this stuff on, for all he does, all the admins there when it comes out of races. Thanks to you guys for putting on the broadcast. Like I said, thanks to Garrett and Kyler for kind of just having people to work with there through the pit stops. Well, more or less with that race, we kind of just like found each other and just decided to work out. It all worked out that way. So thankfully, everything worked out. Hey, we all going to be up there at the end. Hey, Kyler and Garrett both got killed, but we'll take it. Yeah, that's about it. Oh, well, gotta say, I got a special announcement hopefully coming out tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that.
Well, there we go. We will definitely be keeping an eye on that. For Daniel Falkingham, your third place finisher here tonight. Congrats again. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you, Landon.
There we go. Next up, we will speak to your second place finisher here tonight, Nathan Harper, and Josh Giambrone. He stands by with him.
Nathan Harper, Josh Landon in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Hey, so, all right. You started in the third line in that last restart. Did you have a plan going into that restart?
Third, you mean third?
Third in line there on the outside.
I mean, don't lift. I mean, that top sucked all race, and so my plan was just to push 3 deep, not in the corners though, because yeah, I was struggling myself to hold a line, so I didn't want to like dump the dude and then get an EOL. But when I was pushing them, they both cleared, and I'm like, oh crap! Well, here I am all alone, and I don't know where I slotted back in line, but people were slacking and there was a massive hole open, so I took it and got back in line. And if that hole wasn't there, then I probably wouldn't be sitting here talking to y'all.
Yeah, it looks like you went back to like 8th or 9th, but it was a great comeback there. How did you feel in the green flag pit stops there? Because I noticed you were running with the front pack all night, and when you got to the pit stops, it noticed you came out solo and you dropped back into that second pack. How did that happen?
Well, I jumped in here the last second, no practice. I've never had like a league kind of race at this track, so I never pitted. So I had no practice. And well, the pit entry, that was my first mistake. I slowed down way too much, lost about 4 spots there. And then coming to my pit stall, I overshot it by like a stall and a half. And then that was pretty much all she wrote there. And then the pit exit didn't help at all. You kind of had the yellow, you had to like arc it. That was the most technical part of the race. And yeah, I had no practice. And then I had another green flag stop, and that sucked. And then the caution ended up bailing me out. But yeah, pit stops were not it for me tonight. That if the race went green like the whole way, then I wouldn't be in this booth right now. I'd probably finish like 20th. It was rough.
Well, good thing it didn't. You got
Yes.
any shout outs tonight? Anybody you want to thank?
Shout out to my teammate, Jeremy Osborne. I think he got caught up on some of the wrecks. Couldn't really make track position there, and I was in a call with Logan York. I saw the finish. That sucks. He was going to cash easily, but that's just how it goes sometimes.
You know, he did what you did to him last week.
Oh, yeah. I guess so, man. I mean, that race was one to forget, so I'm not taking anything personal from that. And
Oh, we're not forgetting about that up here. Don't you worry.
oh God! And thanks for y'all for broadcasting that. I know that was quite the interesting race to cover there.
Oh yeah, it was a great one. All right, well, buddy, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
There we go. That is Nathan Harper, your second place finisher here tonight. And we're going to go ahead and get a word with tonight's winner, Freddie Baznez. Freddie Baznez, Landon, and Josh in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yep.
I'll tell you what, this is getting all too common, at least with the races that I broadcast. Seems like you seem to win every single one. Walk us through just your race in general. You had to endure some controversy, some adversity, I should say, getting wrecked 2 cautions in a row. You managed to come back without a fast repair, come back and win this race. Go ahead and talk us through it.
Yeah, the start of that race sounds pretty crazy. I remember there was like really early caution. Then we went green for like a long time. The top lane killed everybody in that one restart, and then it was all spread out. And then yellow came out, which was good. I was in like the second pack. I thought when my race was over. And after that, the race was kind of crazy. We were all over the place. I remember Matt Lee. Yeah, he kind of got under me and almost fell me. I saved it though, but then that sent me all the way to the back, and then a wreck happened. Couldn't see nothing. Then I killed Nathan. That killed my car, so I had to go take the fast repair. And the reset right after that, was it? I think it was J.R. Miller. Yeah, he muddy shifted and spun out, and I got my front end hit, but it was barely any damage. It didn't feel that bad. And after that, I just got to get to the front, and once I was there, I was P2 and took it top on Garrett, and then him and Logan, they got at it, and I just got the win.
I'll tell you what, you've definitely got something figured out with these next-gen cars. It don't matter what track it is, Daytona, Talladega, Atlanta, or a fantasy track like this one. I'm not telling you to go out and give out all your secrets, but what's your key to success to these things? Because it's like every single race, you're either winning or second up front the whole time something happens. It's truly impressive. Just what's your thought process when you approach a race in this car?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same as everything. Just go fast, turn left for me, really. I mean, I like this car because you got to be good at pushing to be good at it, and I'm really good at pushing, so I think that's one of the main things. Just being able to push and takes push and all that. Just got to know it, really.
There you go. There's the advice to all y'all that want to be Freddie Baznez in these next-gen cars. You just got to know it. There you go. You got to go out and figure it out. Just watch him, watch his success out here, watch what he does. But go ahead and give out your thanks and your shout-outs.
Yeah, thanks to all the Nightmare teammates. Couldn't run with them tonight because we're in this, but still, thanks to all of them. Chase, he was up there in that race. Vince is also in it. So thanks to them. Thanks to the broadcast. You and Giambrone up there. Gonna have to rewatch that later. Thanks to everybody here at MMS who put on the show, and yeah, that's about it.
Well, there we go. Freddie Baznez, tonight's winner of race number 3 of the Little Dogs Big Dogs series. Congrats again. Thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, there we go, Josh. I mean, this was a race of all time. That's what I'm gonna call it. I mean, it did have a little bit of everything. We got some green flag action. We got a little bit of interesting racing, some things that we don't usually see in Superspeedway racing in general. What were your thoughts on this race here tonight?
It was, other than the first couple, I think it was like the first 2 or 3 cautions, it was a great race. I mean, we can't ask for more. We got yellow flag pit stops, green flag pit stops. We got pack racing. We at one point we had like 12 different packs of people running in and out, and they, it was great racing in the middle of the race, and it got a little caution-y towards the end there, but that's what happens when you bunch these guys up in a track like this, But overall, it was some pretty good racing.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. This was very fun to sit up here and watch. Maybe not at the beginning when we couldn't get a lap in, but I'll tell you what, the rest of it, some crazy racing, chaotic racing, and topping it off with a wild finish between 2 of the best, Garrett Maines and Logan York, getting into it, allowing Freddie Baznez to come through and win once again in a money race. It's truly impressive at this point, but we appreciate all of you out there watching here tonight. We definitely hope you enjoyed it as much as we did up here in the booth. Like we said, this was fun. It was something different, and we will be racing here again, I think 2 more times in this Little Dogs Big Dogs season. Maybe not in the next gen cars, but it'll be in something, and any race here I think is going to be a fun one. But like I said, we appreciate you tuning in. Tune in next week for the PGR 500 starting on Tuesday with heat races, Wednesday and Thursday as well. The LCQs and the duels on Saturday night, and then the feature on Sunday. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope you all out there have a very, very good night.